Alright guys, I'm just going to show you a few tips on the Smart Notebook program. This is one that I use every single day in my classroom. A lot of people are downloading lessons from like smartexchange.com, and those are really awesome, but there's some problems coming up with how do you keep things from moving around and things like that. So I'm going to show you a few tricks. So this is one that I actually just made. I made these base 10 blocks, and sometimes I want my kids to come up and be able to move them around. But today in my lesson, I don't want that. I just want them to be able to look at the blocks and count them. So I really don't want these to move around during my lesson. So in order to keep them locked in place, you just click your mouse and highlight everything that you want to stay in place. So you can see where everything's highlighted. And then if you just click the arrow on any of these pieces, it doesn't really matter which one. And then you click the lock button. Right now it's unlocked. That means the kids can move it anywhere around on the screen. But if you don't want them to move it for a certain lesson, just click lock in place. So then if a kid tries to come up and click on it or move it with their finger, it's not going to move. So that's really helpful where in a lesson where you're not wanting them to physically move the manipulatives and just look at them, they're locked in place. Same thing for down here, like this is one I want them to write on. Sometimes when they're writing with a pen, the text will start moving around. So this is one I'm gonna, again, lock in place. There's also options that under the lock button that says like allow it to move vertically, allow it to move horizontally. I haven't really found a need for that. I've either left it unlocked or locked, and that's worked perfectly fine. Another thing I was going to show you how to do, like this is something that I made, and if you want to like make a tens rod like this to group them, I just went up here to my shapes. I picked a square. I'll show you a yellow one so you can see that it's different. And so I just made my little square. But then if you want to group things together, you can, you know, stack them, whatever you want to do. They're not exactly the same size, but that's okay. If I wanted to group this, I just highlight them all and click my arrow, click group, and then group it together. Now I can move this all around together. I can make all this bigger, I can make it smaller, I can move it around, and it all stays the same. If I decide later, oh, I don't really want those together, just click your arrow again, group it and ungroup it, and then they're back to their own little individual pieces. Something else that's really cool is called the cloner. So if I want to make a bunch of these squares, I just click my arrow and click clone. It's kind of like copy and pasting, but in one click. So if you want to quickly make a bunch of them, that's what you can do. Or another cool thing that I use is called the infinite cloner, and that's where if you click your arrow and then click infinite cloner, and whenever you click on it, it'll have this little infinity sign, and what that means is if any kid comes up to the board and they grab the square and they can just drag it over. So we've kind of used this one whenever we're trying to build a number. Like I'll just put in the corner, I'll only have like a tens rod and a ones rod, and I'll keep the rest of my board blank. Let me delete this for you to show you. And then I'll set them both on infinite cloner, and I'll say, okay, build the number 21. So then I have my kids drag it over 10, 20, 21. So that's a quick way to like let them be able to multiply the manipulatives and clone them easily for a lesson. So you just gotta put them in the corner and then they can drag them over as many as they need. So that's a pretty cool tool that I use a lot too.